All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're talking about the New York Giants. They had a stellar season last year. I seriously think it is so underrated. Nobody is talking the fact that not only they made the playoffs, but also in the division, NFC East, which was loaded with Philadelphia, the Dallas Cowboys, even the Washington Commanders, but they won a playoff game. They beat the Minnesota Vikings in the first round of the playoffs, and they ended up losing to Philly, who ended up making it to the Super Bowl. This Giants team is progressing nicely. And with Brian Dable, with this management, with the staff, with their players, the organization, the fan base, everything is high right now. Everything is rising. So I saw their win-loss total set in 8.5. And I know, we haven't been through the draft, and I get it. This team is under-recognized in general. I get it. There's some concerns. We're going to talk mainly about this offense on the New York Giants in today's video. But before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. Giants fans, I appreciate you guys so much. You've been blessing every single Giants video I have made thus far. So I appreciate you guys so much. Let's try and get this video to 500 likes. And more importantly, I want to hear from you guys down below. Kind of a reoccurring theme that I've been noticing within my comment section is, and I agree with it, I think the Giants need they need either a legitimate playmaker at the wide receiver position, or they need a solidified wide receiver one. And we're going to talk about two possible offensive number one options in today's video. It's not like the offense, they ran the ball a lot. Saquon had a phenomenal season. Daniel Jones had a phenomenal season, and that's why they paid him money. Brian Dable believes in Daniel Jones. To be frank with you guys, I also believe in Daniel Jones. 15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That was the flaw heading into the season with Daniel Jones. It's like, you got to stop turning the ball over. Fumbles, interceptions, doesn't matter. You got to limit turnovers because it just shoots yourself, it shoots your team in the foot, and you're not going to win football games like that. So what did Daniel Jones do? Well, you could nitpick it and be like, he only threw 15 touchdowns. He only threw for 3,200 yards. But more importantly, guys, he threw just 5 interceptions. There's a reason they paid him this money, and I can understand some skepticism. But thankfully, it seems like within the Giants fan base, there's a lot of hope that Daniel Jones can continue to progress, and turn into that difference maker at the quarterback position. Because, I could sit here, and we've done it so far in the offseason, and be like, all right, here are the holes that they have, specifically on the defensive side. You got to keep improving on defense. You got to keep, the offensive line certainly needs some help. I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants went center in their first round pick, but I've also seen wide receiver. I've seen the cornerback spot. Like, yes, there are holes, there are flaws with the Giants team, as there is with all 32 squads in the National Football League, but it's all going to come down to Daniel Jones. That's just the simple fact, is it's going to come down to Daniel Jones. And if you want to do a little bracket to that, you also need offensive line help, which I fully anticipate this Giants team to focus on in the draft. When we take a look at win-loss total sets from Vegas, at 8.5, it's like, you take it with a grain of salt because it's, a bet, it's an odd, and it's also, the offseason's not done. You theoretically can definitely still make moves. Free agency is still going on, but more importantly, the draft is still going on. And with that being said, I need Daniel Jones to get some more help. They got Darren Waller, and if Darren Waller is healthy, he is a top 10 tight end in this league. No questions asked. We saw the connection, Daniel Jones and Daniel Bellinger, more so towards the end of the season. I love Darius Slayton. I think he's more of a complementary piece. We saw Isaiah Hodgins really, truly begin to break out more towards the end of the season. Keep in mind, Sterling Shepard barely played last year. However, he does have some injury concerns in his career thus far. So I need a wide receiver one, or at least I need a difference maker. I need a guy who has that it factor, something that I don't think Daniel Jones has truly had in his tenure with the New York Giants. I just need more big time plays, more just game changing big time plays, big time throws, big time touchdowns, catches, the whole kit and caboodle here. And so that brings us to Jackson Smith-Njigba. Now, you're not going to get him at your current draft pick. So I saw a trade that I really liked. It was the Jets get the 25th pick, the 57th pick, and the 128th pick. The Giants received the 13th pick overall. Now, the contingency to that is That's 3 draft picks. Those are 3 important draft picks. So is that worth it? And we'll mention that when we talk about our next player. But Jackson Smith-Njigba, if you acquire him and you put him into the slot at pick number 13, he is certainly a guy you're not going to regret giving up some draft capital for. This guy is an absolute stud. In 2021, battling a hamstring injury, he had over 1,600 yards for Ohio State. He's just a stud. He's literally just a stud, and I know he would help out the Giants. Now, the thing is, with that, you could also take a wide receiver at pick 25. You could get a guy like Zay Flowers. I've seen other wide receivers being mocked to the Giants, and there's nothing wrong with that either. It's just if you're trying to take that next step, maybe JSN is the guy, because regardless whether he's on the Giants, whatever team Jackson Smith-Njigba gets drafted to, he's going to be an absolute stud. Something I found interesting was another trade was for DeAndre Hopkins. Now, the theoretical trade package was the 89th pick and the 172nd pick, where the Giants received DeAndre Hopkins. The real quick contingency is the Giants only have $3.5 million in cap space, so you are probably going to either have to do a combination or clear some cap space or rework, probably more of you're going to have to clear cap space and rework Hopkins' contract. We've already heard from DeAndre Hopkins that he is totally willing to restructure his contract. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because the divisional rival, the Philadelphia Eagles, they made a trade last year where they acquired A.J. Brown. Now, I know they didn't end up winning the Super Bowl, but I think we all can sit here and agree A.J. Brown offensively helped out not only Jalen Hurts, but their offense in general. He helped take that wide receiver core to the next level. You're acquiring a true wide receiver one. You're acquiring a proven difference maker. And in this past season, in just 9 games from Hopkins, he caught 64 passes for 717 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's just elite. He's a proven wide receiver one, and I think without the injury and then the suspension, DeAndre Hopkins, no questions asked, would still be an undisputed wide receiver, top wide receiver in the league, like probably a top 3 wide receiver in the league. Before the injuries, before the suspension, it was DeAndre Hopkins or Davante Adams, and most people were going with DeAndre Hopkins. The asking price, that's why I'm making this here, is because it's extremely reasonable. They wanted a second-round selection. However, DeAndre Hopkins is still currently on the Arizona Cardinals. So I think the Cardinals are a team that would budge to just let Hopkins loose. And I think the Giants could be a team to keep your eye out on, where they make that big-time move, an A.J. Brown trade-esque, and acquire a proven veteran wide receiver one to help Daniel Jones. So yes, there's some holes, right? You could take a center in your first round and go wide receiver in the second round. You could go center in the first round and make a trade for a either proven or another first round pick. The Giants can do a bundle. They can do a compilation of different things here, and that's what's so exciting is they're rising. The Giants are rising, and I think they just need a true either wide receiver one like DeAndre Hopkins or a young stud who's ready to get into the league like JSN. So let me know what you guys are thinking. As always, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. Giants fans, seriously, I can't appreciate you guys so much. First Giants video, we got like 37,000 views, so appreciate it a lot. A like goes a long way in the algorithm. If we get this video to 500 likes, that would mean the world to me. So until then, I'll see you guys. But let me know what you're thinking about that wide receiver room for the Giants down below.